Take two. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you all are doing spectacular. Welcome to our live Q&A call. Today we are Tuesday, September 13th, and hope you all are excited. So in the chat is a form to fill out your, if you have a question. I'm just seeing like a little Zoom error message, but we should be good to go. All right, so wanted to share a couple things with y'all before we get started into the Q's and A's. While we're waiting, go ahead and populate your questions. But the first thing I wanted to share is one of the most difficult evaluations in the military is for the Navy SEALs. Okay, it involves 8 weeks of physical training, 4-mile run, 100-meter swim, and they start in Illinois, and they have to pass that before they're eligible to go out to Coronado, which is where we've heard of Hell Week before. And when they get out to Coronado, assuming they pass, that's week 4. That's in the middle of this 8 weeks of training, this Hell Week in Coronado. And it's 132 hours, 5.5 days. During that time, they sleep an average of 4 hours total. They're doing physical labor for 20 hours a day. They're eating about 7,000 calories a day, and they're still losing weight. And it's 132 hours of extraordinarily vigorous activity. They lay them in the surf in the middle of the night to where the water just flows over them. They bring them to the point of hypothermia. Then so they're hungry, they're sleepy, they're weary. Then they have them run on the beach, and then they have them roll in the sand. So there's literally sand in every crevice of their body, chafing them. They have them carry logs. They have them carry their boats, their rafts. They give them back they put them back into the water, right? They run them, then they put them back in the water. They roll them in the sand, then they put them back into the water. And it's excruciating. Now, here's what's interesting. Wherever these guys are doing this training, there's always a bell that the leaders bring along. And if one of these candidates rings the bell, then they're out. And they're out of suffering. They're out of pain. They're out of fatigue, hunger. And so what the instructors do as these guys are going through this process is they'll come up and they'll whisper in their ear, hey, all you got to do is ring that bell. All this pain will be over. You can go to a nice hotel, fill your belly with food, clean up, warm shower, warm bed. You can sleep for days. In the ear. All you got to do is ring this bell. All this pain will be gone. There's a 70% dropout rate through this Hell Week. And they try to convince, some of the guys drop out because of injury, but most of them, they drop out because of choice. And they try to convince them that their only solution to the pain is to ring the bell, tap out, quit, give up. And then what they have to do is before they can ring the bell, they have to take their helmet off and set it down. And so there becomes this line of helmets. They ring the bell. And 132 hours, what they've discovered in doing this for years now, decades, is they discovered that there's no commonality of who makes it through Hell Week. Zero. Little guys make it, big guys make it. Guys with optimal physical performance make it. Guys with minimum physical performance make it. Who, minimum physical performance for them is optimal for most of us. But within that community, there's still people that are beasts. Doesn't have anything to do with that. Doesn't have anything to do with backgrounds. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. But here's one thing that they did notice. And if you go to NavySeals.com, you can read about this. The instructors noticed that if the guys quit in their mind first, it's just a matter of time before they end up ringing the bell. So what that looks like is they'll be doing all this work. The bell's over there. And then the guys will take a step towards the bell, and then they'll bring themselves back in line. Right? So they think about it. They make a move towards quitting, and they come back. They said, without exception, 100% of the people, the men that make that first step, even if they come back, end up quitting. 100%. Because they quit in their brain before they quit in their physical actions. So again, no commonality, not the largest. The one commonality is the desire to be a Navy SEAL. That's it. And the instructors say you can see it in their eyes. They're burning in their eyes. So in the midst of your entrepreneurial journey, your battle to create your own financial independence, your fight to get through your hell week, on the other side of that, to be eligible to operate in those financial blessings, the enemy is going to be whispering in your ear almost nonstop. And here's what that sounds like. This is too hard. You can't do this. That other thing would be better. The grass is greener on the other side. Plus a million other temptations of bright and shiny objects that he'll pass across your brain to try to get you to quit on the dream that God put in your heart. So I just want to encourage you today to renew your mind, do the daily mindset work like your life depends on it, because it does, and do the 3 pillars that we encourage you to do every single day without fail. Because even if you wobble, that's how you can get yourself back on track. Okay. So I wanted to share something from our personal life that you all might find is interesting. Let me get it configured here the right way. So this video is a church service that we were at a few weeks back. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but our church had the kids did a takeover. And so the kids were, you can see the kids are along the front of the stage. And so we have a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they went down. And I was a little nervous when it happened, because I'm like, oh, who's going to like tell them where to go and what to do, right? So see that little guy jumping there with the green or the red shorts? That's our little 8-year-old who basically just went up on stage and started dancing around. And we thought that was the funniest thing ever. And then he's jumping around, and then our son's currently yelling at him to get back down. So he came off the stage, and all was well. So that was pretty cool. But you'll notice something here, little different. So last Thursday, we got a call that our little dude fractured something in his arm, his elbow, something like that. And of course, that wasn't very fun. And, I mean, we all have stuff to deal with, right? So, this kind of thing happens, and you're like, all these thoughts start to attack you and mess with your brain and try to goof you up and screw you up. And you're never going to be immune to that. I mean, Jesus said, hey, in this day you will have trials, right? But fear not, because I've overcome them. So regardless of what your trial is, you just have to have a way to process through that. You have to be secure in who you are and in whose you are. And, Jesus taught us to refer to the Father as Daddy, Abba. That's translated as Daddy, right? A loving, kind Father. And so what I want to wrap up with for today is in the Barcelona 1992 400-meter race, Derek Redmond was the favorite to win that race. And he didn't. But here's what happened, which is pretty awesome. So let me go ahead and play this little clip. But first, let me make sure that I'm sharing. They asked him, "What the heck? Why did you do that?" He said, "My country sent me here to finish the race." And so he did that. And when you're going through life and working on your business and working on yourself and running into different things, just remember that's your daddy. Like, he's the one that comes alongside to help. And you've got to maintain that eye of the tiger. Paul said run the race to win it. And so you got to stay in the hunt, stay engaged, and you'll harvest. Okay. So hopefully that was as awesome for you as it was for me, seeing that, learning about that story. And now let's get into some Q's and A's.